Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Peter here, and it is time for episode 26 of the PDG Advertising podcast. Let's get into it. So we're back in the office after the bank holiday and beautiful sunny day here in Belfast. Yesterday we had thunder and lightning, which was kind of exciting. But today's been a great day. We've got so much done. Anthony was in earlier, and it feels like we got to a level of control today, which was good and always nice to have in this fast-paced industry. But I suppose the first thing that came up was something's pretty cool. We with one of our customers, it's quite a convoluted, complicated process, but we work on behalf of them to get in touch with their customers. So we are a third party, but we work in partnership with our customer. And what they do is they have a network of customers all over the UK, and we work on behalf of our customer to service their customers. So whenever we were on today, what we do is once a month we do a ring round of all the customers. There's maybe 22 of them. And today it was cool because I was sitting listening to Anthony call around everybody, and he was saying things like, "It's Anthony here from PDG Advertising. We work on behalf of our customer's name." And that was really nice to hear. And I thought, well, every little bit helps, doesn't it, in terms of getting your name out there? So every time Anthony was professionally saying, "I'm from PDG Advertising," and providing a good quality of service, he is giving us brand awareness and also is helping with our overall customer growth. If you have been paying attention to the PDG Advertising podcast, you will know that those are our three pillars of PDG Advertising: customer growth, quality of service, and brand awareness. So that was really nice to hear that happening. And I'm very grateful to this customer for allowing us to do that. We didn't push that. It's the ideal scenario for us, for our customer to be that pleased with working for us, being proud to work with us. I want to talk about that word proud sometime soon as well, because I don't love that word. And when I see it in places, it's kind of cringy. But this customer actually said that they were proud to have us working with them, and they would love to have us associated with their name. And that's ideal. Whenever someone is proud to have you associated with them and pay for your service, it is electric. And I was very, very grateful to that customer for asserting that, and us being able to use that platform to get our name out there in such a tiny way. It's such a small way, but every one person that we talk about and we talk about PDG Advertising to, is someone else who knows who we are. So if we look at our overall customer journey of people who don't know who we are, there are many people that don't know who we are. Now slowly we're getting in front of more people who will soon know who we are. So that was awesome, and I really liked that. So another thing that happened today was we need to always make the right decision for our customers. And that might seem obvious, as any third-party supporter would do or would try to do. But we this week have been in discussion. So we look after a South African customer of ours, and we look after their pay-per-click advertising. But we also do like overall strategy, and we're invested in this customer's success. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that they have an overall strong environment for building their sales funnel. And one thing that'll help them with that is SEO. So what we're doing is we're helping that customer decide on an SEO partner. We're not going to do it this time but we're going to work with someone else who will. So what we're doing there is we're providing that support, that access to the best talent, that sounding board as a trusted advisor to get that customer the support that they need in order to build them up a level. It all helps in our overall customer journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that takes us. But it always just comes back to making the right decision for a customer and helping them make the right decisions, and that's very, very important. So I've written down here that I wanted to talk about the tasks that we did today. I don't ever want this podcast to be preachy. I don't want it to be me telling anybody what to do or how to do it. And I hope that we haven't veered into that in the last few podcasts. I think, though, it's interesting. Whenever I started off with the podcasting, I would be going through some very tactical things. I think as time has gone on a little bit, I've moved up to ever so slightly more strategic things. But I don't really want to lose that tactical effect. So I wanted to share some of the things that we have done today for our customers. So at the very top of the day, we signed off web design. So we, throughout last week, on Monday of last week, it's for a fitness customer, and we got a request in that we create a design for their new website. So it took us 7 days to get that design created, going back and forward. Anthony worked really hard on it. It worked really well. And then we presented it to the customer, and they immediately loved it, which was great. Some little minor changes, and then it now goes over into development. So that was a cool thing to get kicked off properly into development today. And we're looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I think this is a customer that we will probably be sharing this across social media. This is a Belfast-based customer, one we're very pleased to have. And I think we'll be sharing that across social media in time. It might take another 3 or 4 weeks before that website is developed. Normally, we give a timeline of 6 weeks to 10 weeks for a website from conception to development. But this one is just a one-page website, which is better, isn't it, to just have one page? And we'll see how that ends up. But it's a really great project to work on. Website colors are electric; they're pink and bright orange, and they just work really well. And then we had our call with our Australian customer today. It's Tuesday, so if you're a regular listener of the PDG Advertising podcast, you'll know that on Tuesdays we have a call with our Australian customer, and it was really good. It felt really right. There's a lot going on well for that customer at the moment, but we're getting into a level of detail with them about things like Google adverts, about email marketing, about unsubscribes, about subscribers, about lifetime purchase value, about time to purchase, all of those things, really, really in-depth things. And we all took a step back on the call and said, goodness, we have so much data and none of us really know how everything works here. But we're always getting closer to it. So even that recognition that we don't really know where anything is, but we know by the metrics that we can see going up that we're doing something correctly. So that's pretty wonderful. You know, sometimes we do really well with stuff and sometimes we don't do so well with stuff. Another one of our customers today, we sent out an email that hadn't been signed off totally by the customer. There is sometimes whenever I sent this off, but sometimes whenever we reach a level of autonomy, sometimes we send out communications. And you know, nothing's ever perfect. I suggest that we get things right to 98% of the 98% of the of quality. I mean, that's what we're going for 100%. But you know, we're not perfect, and we're not. But we are always working with the right intent. So I created up an email just to send out to just 19 people on a list. They're 19 very important people, as all people are. But the email, now I would say that it worked quite well. but it hadn't gone past the customer to, and whenever it was sent out, the customer got notified, and it was a little bit confusing as to why we had done things in a certain way. So what had to happen today was I had to phone up and explain what had gone wrong, apologize for not keeping the person in the loop, because even though the email I think wasn't the worst email in the world, a pretty good email actually, if you're not preparing people for it, then it can come across as abrupt, or it can be blunt, or people can feel that they're not being kept in the loop. And that's not what I want. So that was a bit of a mea culpa, I think, if that's what you call it. But I think one of the most important things is to own that and get in touch with the person that you've done something wrong for, and then fix it, which is very much what PDG Advertising is about. It feels really uncomfortable talking on the podcast about things that we've screwed up, but I don't think that everything is 100% positive. I think there's times whenever we need to put our hands up and say, this didn't work out the way that we wanted it to, and these are the steps that we took to fix it. And I think that's about as honest as it can get. So much stuff here. I'm only on like the fourth thing out of 10. But there's so much stuff. Another customer, we've got a problem in reporting, not with our reporting, but there is reporting that happens, and we take our success figures from a certain area, and we got an email from the customer saying, oh, things are great. We've had 10 more results than we would normally have on this week. And through my data, I thought we were down. So there's some mismatch. And when that happens, we need to investigate. So I guess if you take a step back, a lot of what we do is actually troubleshooting, finding out where something's going wrong and trying to fix it. And that is what is happening with that customer. So they think that their results are very good, which they probably are, but our reporting interface isn't working in the way that it should, and it's not notifying us, which is really important, because if your data tracking, your analytics is not correct, then you will make changes to your approach that you maybe didn't need to make. And the changes that you made, you might doubt them. So it's important to have your data correct and your analytics correct. And that's something that we're working towards today and ongoing. Again, for another one of our customers, we're checking in on the adverts that we're doing. There's another 2 customers really, and just making sure everything's going okay and making sure that things are happening the way that they should. And whenever we have done that, more often than not, we see things are working well. When we don't, we then remove the adverts or update them in order to fix whatever's going on there. So another couple of things that were done today, we have a customer that's in setup mode, so we're just getting to know them. Another 2 customers actually in setup mode, and we're just getting to know who they are, and that takes up an amount of time as well, where we're going back and forward to get logins, to get connections, to get, to find out how the business ticks and how the business works in order to apply our adverts to the overall customer journey. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff that we did today and that we have on our plate right now, and that's probably only about half of the stuff that I can tell you guys on the podcast, because I can't give away all of the stuff that we do. When I say all of the stuff, I mean we are giving away everything that we do, but we're just not going into who we're doing it for. And I suppose in time we'll be able to be a little bit more open about that. So the last point on the podcast is just to come back to that word proud. I've always been really, whenever you see a shop proudly supporting a football team or something like that, I always have a problem with the word proud. I mean, I think pride, and the word proud and pride has a strange meaning whenever you put it and you see it on those. It's like whenever you see there's a couple of statements like that. It's like whenever you see well presented as a house. It always rings alarm bells for me if you're looking up a house to buy or to rent or something else. Something says well presented, I always start to think, what's going on there? Why is it saying well presented? And there's another one as well. When someone wins an award, whenever it says well deserved, I always get a little bit antsy about that. I think, well, who doesn't deserve that? Someone Why is something more deserving than others? And proud hits that same tone with me, proudly supporting. Now, we were talking about a customer who said that they were proudly affiliated with us, and that didn't feel bad. Maybe it's maybe it's only other people that it affects my sensitivity around that word. But proudly supporting, I think there's maybe a better way to put that. Actively engaged in or actively supporting or something like that. Proudly supporting on a big banner seems lazy to me. It seems like something that's repeated over and over again, and it's words that don't actually mean anything. And that is enough ranting from me today. And with that, I'm going to sign off this podcast, and I'm looking forward to doing tomorrow's one. I've noticed that we've had a few more listeners out there, so I'm really pleased about that. Our podcast downloader and uploader into YouTube is back, and I'm delighted. So after this, I'm going to get in touch with her to help me upload episode from 22 up to 26 into YouTube, and you'll be able to see them on there, as well as on Spotify, SoundCloud, Overcast, Pocket, iTunes, all of that good stuff. Anchor FM is what this is built on. And I think there's an advert that comes up after every one of them, which I don't mind, because this is a pretty awesome piece of technology that you're able to just pick up and create a podcast. So, yep, welcome to new listeners. I really appreciate anybody listening to this, and I will be back tomorrow.